Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, October 23rd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple quick clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, BYND, has been the talk of town. And now this, from a presentation standpoint, is a very tricky chart to talk about because there's a whole lot of perspective that goes into it. What do I mean? Well, if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, maybe you bought the dip right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well then from that standpoint, from that perspective, the chart is an absolute train wreck. Looks really, really bad. With that said, if you're somebody that cares about the big picture, the overall point of view, even with the big pullback today, the price does still have plenty of opportunity to build those higher bases. So what do I mean by that? Well, I'm not saying that this is where the price is going to go, but let's say the price does come back down to right around this area, around $2.50. So it comes down here, behaves like that, and then starts to curl back upward. Now, emphasis here on big picture. From the big picture, what do you have? Well, you have a set of lows here. You have lows right here. You have lows right here. You have these lows down here. And again, emphasis on big picture. From the big picture perspective, if you envision those as stair steps, you still do have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So there would still be bullish progress being made. Again, I am well aware that if you're a day trader and you bought right there, you definitely do not care about these stair steps. So that's where I'm trying to make the distinguish between the more so the day trader type person and the other person that cares about the bigger picture point of view. So yes, overall, the chart still has plenty of opportunity to build that higher base. So that'll be top priority moving forward. But yeah, if you're a day trader and depending on where you bought, today could have been a real bad day. Next one here, looking at YYAI, penny stock here with a whole lot of volume today. And now we have a good solid pattern here moving into Thursday. So let's get this pattern mapped out. So across the top part of the pattern, we have that area right there as resistance. And then down here, we have this area as support. Let me change that to green for support. And then just to make sure that everybody can see the pattern, let's keep it all the same color. So we have our area of resistance here. We have our area of support right here. We have this big explosive move right there. And then for you golfers out there trying to make a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, let me be very clear. Just because this is a bullish pattern does not mean that for sure guaranteed that the price is going to do something like this where it chops around and then comes up here and breaks through and then explodes. No such thing as guaranteed. Now, is it valid? Is it a plausible question to throw out there? With that being a possibility, absolutely. So again, a breakout to the upside doesn't guarantee an explosion, but hey, it could be a technical breakout. It could create upside momentum. So it becomes a very realistic, a very valid question to throw out there. So if you like penny stocks, if you like bull pennant patterns, then definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, BURU, and I'm going to go through this one quicker because same exact general idea in terms of the pattern that we just talked about. So I want to respect your time as much as possible. And, not just sit here and just completely repeat myself like a broken record. So there's the support right there. And then just to make sure that everybody can see it, we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the nice upwards move right here. And then the golf hole down here. And we are looking at yet another bull pennant pattern. Sure, it looks a little bit different, but the general psychology is the same. The psychology being there is a big move up. Now it's doing some consolidating, and now it's just a question of will the price consolidate in a healthy way that produces a break to the upside. Grab your popcorn, and we'll see what happens on Thursday. Next one here, BENF, and this might be a little disappointing to some, but we still get to ask a very exciting question. But let's just say, or take a look at who this be disappointing for. So going into this last 30 minutes here, very, very nice bull pennant pattern, which was what we've been talking about. With that said, you can see that bull pennant has now been broken out of. So if you like to play the breakout, that opportunity has already passed you by. So yeah, from that angle, maybe a little disappointing. With all that said, because of this breakout, we now get to ask a very exciting question, and that is this. Is this start of something bigger? Now think about that question. It makes no sense to ask, is this the start of something bigger if nothing even happens in the first place? But in this situation, of course something has happened. We have the technical pattern breakout. Now, to be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this thing just rolls right back over. But again, to be fair, that's a two-sided coin. Maybe this thing is getting ready to rock and roll, and it's going to be that much higher on Thursday. So yes, if you like to play the breakout, that has already come and gone. But if you like to see these situations where you get the breakout, then you get to ask the question, hey, is this the start of an even bigger upwards momentum move? Then definitely keep an eye on BENF here headed into Thursday. Next one here, DNUT. And this is another one of these which is kind of tricky to talk about because it's all about perspective. Day traders, flipper, scalpers, if you were buying there or buying right there and your plan was to buy and sell, within 7 minutes, then yes, things are looking pretty rough for you. But if you care about the grand scheme of things, interesting pattern here has been formed and suggesting that maybe this pullback here is finally over. So to map out this pattern, we have this uptrend here that is starting to form. And then right across the top, we have a very clear, whoops, did not mean to do that. Let's try again. There we go. We have a very clear area of resistance right there at $4.30. So in other words, yes, the price made the big move up and now it started to come back down, but it's at least now started to go sideways and form a slight little ascending triangle pattern. Now, does all this mean that for sure guaranteed the pullback is over and that this thing is going to curl back upwards? Of course not. Again, no guarantees. But it's way more valid to suggest that the pullback is over. Case in point, let's just say the price was still just dropping, and I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like the pullback might be over. You'd be totally justified to say, based on what? The price is literally still just dropping. But that's not the case here. It has at least started to go sideways. So again, guaranteed bottom? Of course not. Is it at least rational to throw out there as a possibility? Absolutely. So if you like to play these situations where you get a big move up, then you get a pretty nasty pullback, but then all of a sudden the price starts to behave like maybe it's over and maybe getting ready to curl back upwards, then definitely keep an eye on it. Real quickly, I want to take a break and help you solve a very common problem that maybe pertains to you, and that is people wanting to be a day trader, and I define day trader as having unlimited day trades every day, but they can't because of that very stupid pattern day trading rule. Well, if that describes you and you want to get into a market where there's no pattern day trading rule, where there's very low risk relative to what, the amount of money you need to put in harm's way, then definitely check out what I've been doing and check out the link that you've seen at the top of the screen. But I do understand if all this sounds a little too good to be true, what's the catch? Which is why I invite you to come swing by my live stream. I start every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And then I go for a few hours and watch it with your very own eyes and ask me any sort of questions that you may have. Because again, I totally understand what's the catch. This seems like a little scam-like. I get it. So come check it out with your very own eyes and ask me any sort of questions. But please realize, if you want to be a day trader, you can totally kick that pattern day trading rule to the curb. Next one here, looking at NVDA, and overall another rough day. Started off very nicely, actually broke up above this resistance that I talked about previously, but then after that fell, broke that area of support down here, temporarily broke it, but to give credit's due, at least this area of support down here did hold strong. So good to see that this 177.30 mark did ultimately have some buyers there. But this is also where the first key update comes into play. And this update is based on the rule that says when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So I'm going to get rid of that level. And that is what's happening right now. You can see that the price broke below it right there. And then when this first bounce came up, rejected. And even right now, as I speak, you can see this bounce up is struggling once again with this 180 mark. So again, not saying 180 can never be broken again. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price is struggling at that level. And that moving forward, if the price does push up through there, then the next key battleground to watch is going to be that purple line there. 50-period simple moving average right now valued at 181.70. And then again, in terms of levels of support, all eyes remain at 177.30, which did do a good job so far. So can that level continue to hold as support moves forward? We'll see what happens. Next one here, BBAI, another rough day. But now this late day action with the move back upwards, have a very interesting scenario here. So let's get this drawn into play. We have this area of support. And then we have this area of resistance coming down. In fact, you can extend this out a little bit more just to illustrate it more. And this is what I would consider a falling wedge pattern. And you can see that as I speak, right now, that price is knocking on the door of the falling wedge pattern, which is, by the way, a bullish pattern. As I mentioned earlier, just because something's bullish doesn't mean it's going to go up. But it is valid if you're to say, I think this thing might have some upward strength to it. I can see what you're saying. So overall, though, that's going to be the first and I think big question in the Thursday. Is question number one, can the price break through that level? And then question number two, can it get more continuation? But anyway, look at it. We have a falling wedge. The price is knocking on the door of the upper part of the falling wedge. So yeah, let's see if the price can indeed get a push up through. Next one here, PLUG. Very rough day, although to be fair, last part of the day, nice upwards move where you have the channel right there. With that said, if you care about the bigger picture point of view, yes, you would acknowledge, yeah, there's this upwards channel right here. But you'd have to say, well, what was going on before this upwards channel? And you'd say, well, the price was up there before it dropped all the way down here. And what we now have is a bear flag pattern. Now, this is pretty much good news. I've been mentioning all these bullish patterns and how just because something's bullish does not mean the price is going to go up. The same is true here. Just because something's bearish does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go down. All I'm saying is that while, yes, to be fair, this is a nice move. Sure, get excited about it. I'm just saying don't be too excited about it because there's still a whole lot more work that needs to be done because the overall trend is still now very clearly in the downward direction, most easily seen via the purple line right there and the strong downwards angle it has to it. So yes, be excited. That nice little bounce, nice little upwards channel. But when you consider everything, right now it's just the bear flag pattern. But bear flags can be destroyed to the upside. So we'll see if the bulls can get that job done or not. Next one here, OPEN. Very rough move today, but to give credit where credit's due, from where it was at its lows to where the price is now ultimately bounced up to. Good solid move. Not just becomes a question of, but is there any sort of genuine power behind this price movement? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that very straightforward. And in my mind, it all revolves around this area right here at $6.50. Why is $6.50 so important? Well, hopefully we can all agree on the logic that price movements with genuine power are going to make progress forward. They're not going to go back to where they were. So let's say the price comes down here, does something like this, and then breaks. What do you have at that point in time? You have the price literally going right back to where it was. And again, as hopefully we can agree, price movements that make a great move and then go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine power. But to be fair, nothing can go just straight up. So maybe the price comes down here, and in this situation behaves like this and then starts to curl back upwards. Now all of a sudden, what do you have? Well, you have a set of lows right here. You have this low down here. And if you envision each of these as stair-steps, well, now you have stair-steps making progress in the upwards direction. And again, that's the name of the game. It has nothing to do with going straight up. It has everything to do with at least showing signs of progress. And in this situation, the quote-unquote sign of progress, I'm defining as staying above $6.50. So keep an eye on that. If this upwards move continues, main battleground to watch now is the next key area of resistance right there. That purple line there, 50 period simple moving average, currently valued at 705. Next one here, RGTI, and the downtrend and bleeding continues. Talked about this 37.50 mark in a previous video as an important area of support, but now that the price has gone below it, as I explained on a previous chart, that rule and levels of support are broken and closed below. They tend to act as resistance. So yes, as of now, to be fair, nice little upwards move to it. But again, like these other ones, what was happening before the upwards move, the price had moved down like that. So technically speaking, a bear flag pattern. But as of now, if this bear flag is going to actually kind of maybe not be invalidated, the way to invalidate the bear flag, in my opinion, is to get up to 37.50 and then start to close up above it. So that'll be the key dynamic to watch if you want to try to invalidate that current bearish pattern of the bear flag. And then as far as levels of support are concerned, very straightforward, based on a very basic question: where did the bleeding finally stop today? And it finally stopped down there right at $34.15. So 34.15 will be that key battleground to watch from a support side of things. But yeah, nice late day action. But will the bear flag play out? Will it break more to the downside? Or can the bulls invalidate the bear flag by getting the break above 37.50? We'll see what happens on Thursday. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you are sick and tired of the pattern day trend rule, maybe you just want a change of scenery and you want a market where you have lower risk, lower money required, but yet you have really great movement. In fact, even better than small caps and penny stocks, as hard as that is to believe. But like I said, that's why I invite you. Come check out the live stream, see it with your very own eyes, ask me questions, and you'll see that, yeah, this is a great market and it does offer a whole lot of benefits. So like I said, make sure you swing by the live stream and check it out with your very own eyes. So thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button and hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.